it's Wednesday. And what would Wednesday be without inviting my longtime friend, Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital, to the show this morning. So, Dr. Joe, good morning. What do you have for us on this frigidly cold Wednesday morning?
It is frigidly cold, Ray. Thank you so much for the kind words. And I kind of wanted to start you out with a heartwarming story today, if I could. This story is heartwarming that's gone on in our community. We get these every so often. We haven't had one in a couple of years. We need to make sure that we keep a lot of vigilance about this topic and talk about it so that people are aware of it when it occurs. And what I want to talk about today is we had a life-saving event at one of the junior high schools, 8th grader at Crestview School in Mahoning Valley, and that's one of the schools that we cover. And we talk occasionally about a lot of different things sports-wise, and sports is fun and games and that kind of stuff. But we also talk about some of the life-threatening issues, and we make sure that the schools and the trainers and the medical staffs are ready for things that would be life-threatening. And so that would normally be, they call it the 3 H's. You know, we talk a lot about head injuries, concussion, heat in the heat season, and heart. And one of the greatest advances in my career, Ray, has been that since the 1980s, 1990s, we used to lose a lot of kids around the country with cardiac arrest and sudden cardiac death. And typically either the heart would go into an abnormal rhythm, sometimes because they were hit in the chest, sometimes because they had a structural abnormality that sent their heart into an abnormal rhythm. But the heart goes into an abnormal rhythm sometimes and won't come back out, and the young person will collapse and have cardiac arrest. And this young person at Crestview, 8th grade, he, on December 17th, collapsed at the school, and a lot of people were watching. It's really easy, a lot of people to say, oh, come on, this is a young kid, he's got to be okay, whatever. They rolled him over. They see that he's not breathing, he has no pulse, he's starting to look grayish, and they're getting no response from him at all. And the very right thing to do is to get to the medical people, and thankfully this was one of the schools where we at Akron Children's Hospital have one of our nursing staff, our school nursing staff people there. And so this young man by the name of Jacob Burley was on the ground. Many of the coaches and everything came up to the school nurse. This young school nurse from our team by the name of Ellie Thompson got to be a lifesaver. She was a lifesaver. She knows where the AEDs were, and the AEDs were a new thing in the 2000s, automatic external defibrillators. And we used to struggle to get one in a school, and now we saw how beneficial they are at saving lives. You and I could go back over several stories in the last couple decades where we've saved lives with these things. People talk about Damar Hamlin. The adult things are kind of a little bit different. But in kids, this has been life-saving. There's been a 49% decrease in the last 20 years. I just read this article, almost 50% decrease in sudden cardiac death in young people. And so Ellie Thompson knew exactly where the AED was. Most schools, I studied this last night a little bit, have about 3 to 5 AEDs somewhere in the school now. That's good. In the old days, maybe there was one and you had to run all the way to one spot in the school and know. Most schools that we work with here have kind of a map so that you know if you get the map out where these AEDs can be found. So we at Children's have 44 districts where our school nurses are there, and that's exactly the right person to find. But you have to find these people in short order, because if it lasts longer than 5 minutes, you could start getting into organ damage. You get to 10 minutes, and there's a very good chance this person won't survive and live. And so thankfully, they acted quickly at Crestview School, and they put the pads on, and with the AED, they restarted this young man's heart. And so pretty amazing. You know, we have 38 schools. The trainers all know where they are, the AEDs. They have them in training and sports facilities. The school nurses know where they are when we're in the season. Everybody's inside. They know where they are. They have maps. They test each other. They actually go through with some of the teachers and coaches to make sure they could even know how to use it if they do not have a medical personnel there, because they're very simple to use. You turn on the machine, it says put one pad here, and then it delivers a shock. And it won't be, it won't cause a problem if the person doesn't need a shock. But in this case, Jacob definitely needed a shock. It took, according to the article and what I read in some of the children's, it took about 30 seconds before his heart started again. Then, of course, they took him to the emergency room. We have specialists in cardiology who do testing within 24 to 48 hours to see, was there an abnormal rhythm that this young person has? Is there a structural problem this young person has? Remember, we talked about it with Bronny James with a problem with some cardiac arrest. And so these things are literally life-saving. 50% decrease in my career. One of the things that I feel the best about what we've come up with, you know, you and I talked a couple years ago. There was a young man at Revere in the spring. It was a nice spring day, the first day of track practice, and he had a cardiac arrest. And the trainer ran to get the AED, restarted his heart. His name, Caleb Perkins. I caught up with some articles on him last night. He actually has become an advocate for AEDs. He travels around to schools around our region, making sure that people are trained in how to use AEDs and know where these AEDs are, because they are literally life-saving. And we found out yesterday Jacob is back at school here in January already, doing well, already worked with Dr. Clark, the cardiologist, and he had ablation done, it's called, with a cardiac catheter, and he is back in school and doing well. And in another day and age earlier in my career, this would have been a tragedy. And in the meantime, on a very cold morning, this is a heartwarming story. And I just really wanted to remind everybody, know where the AEDs are, be aware of the AEDs, make sure you have those school nurses and those athletic trainers. They're the key people who know how to use these the best, but even teachers get trained in the use of AEDs, and it's literally life-saving.
Yeah, and Joe, I got to tell you, just like you, I make my way around to many schools doing the play-by-play as I'm doing this winter, and I'm like you, I see the AEDs all around the schools where, my friend, you know as well as I do, 15, 20 years ago, we didn't see that. It's great to see the district's involvement and certainly investment into the health of the kids.
You are a very observant guy, Ray. That's what I love about you. So you'll see the trainers walking around, and they're literally carrying these square boxes, either red or yellow, and that's probably the AED that the trainer has with them at their side for any of the indoor events, and they're ready when needed. And this is just a great story, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of how the advances that we've made in this one area of medicine.
All right, Joe. Great stuff this morning. Always love you making time and doing the research for us. Good sports medicine talk. Joe's been with us here on the morning show for over 25 years, and here's to another 25. Joe, thanks for the time, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ray. Have a great rest of the week. Let's warm up a little bit, huh?
I'm with you, my friend, for sure.